Welcome to the Film Buff Brothers, the movie podcast where two brothers talk about film. You can check out our website at filmbuffbrothers.com, and today we have a review of the movie The Wolverine, directed by James Mangold, who is probably best known for directing Copland, Walk the Line, and 3:10 to Yuma. It's The Wolverine stars Hugh Jackman, of course, as Logan or Wolverine, Teo Akamoto as Mariko. Is that right? It's not how they were pronouncing it in the movie. I don't know how they pronounced it.
It's like Michael or Michael. If half the time I thought they were saying Michael.
It's like
I'm like, who's Michael?
Yeah, I can't even say how they were saying. And Rita Fukushima as Yukio. I would have put in some more on there, but like everyone else, even the non-Japanese people, had hard names. Plot. Summoned to Japan by an old acquaintance, Wolverine becomes embroiled in a conflict that forces him to confront his own demons. What did you think of The Wolverine?
I liked it, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a superhero movie. I mean,
we should probably mention that neither one of us are really into reading comic books, so The only knowledge we have mostly is maybe randomly reading Wikipedia and origin stories of superheroes. I don't know if you do that. I go down a lot of rabbit holes.
Yeah. Occasionally I'll hear some pop culture reference, but I mean,
I'm guessing this movie was one of the comic book storylines, like they usually are.
Yeah.
It definitely seemed to go like a comic book.
Yeah.
I think I'm not surprised finding out who the director is, James Mangold, he did Copland. Do you remember Copland? That's the one where Sylvester Stallone plays a sheriff outside of New York City.
Oh.
And a lot of cops that are cops of New York City like live there.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's really, really good. I don't think he's ever topped that movie.
Yeah.
It was one of his earlier ones. And he did Walk the Line and 3:10 to Yuma, and I like both of those too. So I think this movie, The Wolverine, I think the direction of it and the look of it was really good. A little bit lacking in the story.
It was okay. It wasn't
and
great.
I gotta say, this is one of the reasons I don't read comic books. The dialogue in comic books drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm sure there's like people who read comic books who are like, oh, you'll get over it. No. It's bad.
You only can fit so much in that little bubble, though.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
I would say the look of it was interesting. It had a lot of interesting camera shots, and some of it almost got really artsy. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Much more than the actual story of the movie. The story is not bad, although there's kind of a twist near the end. Although I gotta say, I knew the twist even before I watched the movie, just from watching the trailer.
Yeah, it was obvious. If they didn't do it, I was wanting to slap somebody. So,
and it wasn't a very good twist. It was so obvious. Even if you didn't notice it from the trailer, if you're watching the movie and you don't figure it out, then I question your intelligence. It's that obvious, and I think that's the biggest problem with this movie is the story isn't quite there. I think the thing that saves it the most is Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
As always. I mean, Hugh Jackman he's the perfect Wolverine. You can't go, although the only problem I have with Hugh Jackman at this point maybe is he's starting to look older.
Yeah.
He can only do maybe, how many more movies do you think as Wolverine? Maybe 2 or 3?
Yeah, it depends on how quickly they do them.
Yeah, then I think they're already done with the Days of Future Past, which is the next one coming out in May of 2014, next year. And that one looks really good. they kind of set that one up at the end of this one. So if anyone goes to watch this one, you should watch the credits.
Yeah.
Anything else about this movie that stood out? What'd you think of the Roila Fukushima Yukio, who's like, I guess her character is, she was like homeless as a little girl or something.
Yeah.
And this one girl, rich little girl who's like, she's supposed to be really young, and her father like gets her a friend, and it's just this homeless girl, and it's this girl Yukio. And I guess she grows up training to fight, and she's really fast and really good at fighting.
And she was interesting. I mean, she gave the movie a little bit of...
She kind of had the somewhat same chemistry as... I think both of the girls were kind of sort of in the similar role to how the girl in the first X-Men movie was. The girl who touches, I can't think of her character name or the actress.
Yeah.
Who like touches people and then they get sick or something.
You mean the one that absorbs their power?
I think they find out that later. That was one of the other problems with this movie. I haven't seen an X-Men movie in... Now, neither of us watched, was it last year or the year before, X-Men First Class?
No.
And I heard it was really good. We need to watch that sometime.
Probably.
It's... I think the last X-Men movie I watched was the third one, and that was like 6 years ago. And I was very disappointed by that one.
Yeah, it's not... Yeah, we neither of us have really been into X-Men. I mean...
The third X-Men movie, it's... The biggest problem with it is it's like Hugh Jackman's character of Wolverine is like completely stripped down and not as gritty as he is in the first two.
Yeah.
And this one, they kind of brought it back to more darker Wolverine, which is what he should be.
Yeah.
And, that's not the last one I saw. The last one we saw was the last Wolverine movie.
Yeah, we did see that one.
That one didn't do very well. Well, it did good in theaters. It did decent, but like reviews weren't high on it.
No.
I'm guessing, I don't think the reviews are very high on this one either. Although, from what I remember of that one compared to this one, I think this one might be a little better. A little better or about the same. I can't remember the last one as much.
I think
I went into that last one kind of skeptical because it was a prequel.
Well, it was supposed to be more of an origin story than this one was.
Yeah, I'm not big on origin stories. Because they have to go through so much slush and of exhibition and plot and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought this was a pretty good standalone Wolverine movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. I would say it was good, but it was mediocre good.
Yeah, I mean,
the look of it is what saves it, I think.
Yeah,
for me.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but I mean, the fight scenes were pretty good in it.
Yeah, the scene on the speed bullet train, that was really good.
Yeah, yeah, the special effects and the stunts.
Even the story wasn't bad. It was just, it's nothing we haven't seen before.
No, it was
anything. That's fine. It's like, I don't expect a standalone Wolverine movie to recreate the genre or anything.
No.
Even with a really good director like this. I really think the director's probably the one who really propped it up a little bit more than it was going to be. And I think it turned out to be much better than it would have if he wasn't directing it.
Yeah.
Just looking at the history of the movies that he has directed.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the look and the feel of the movie were really good. I mean...
Yeah, anything else? No, unless we want to get into spoilers, which there's not very much to spoil.
No, I mean, they kind of go through most of it in the preview, to be honest, but...
Yeah. I was expecting a little bit more from this, maybe.
Yeah.
When I first heard about it, but then I saw the trailers and I think it turned out a little bit better than what I saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
So what would you give the Wolverine out of 5 stars?
I'm going to go 3.
I'm going to do 3 too. Or I'm going to go 3.5.
Yeah.
I liked it a bit more than I thought I would.
It was about what I expected, to be honest, but
I liked it a little bit more than the last one. The last one was somewhat disappointing, but I can't really remember it as much. Like, I almost wish we had watched that one, at least that one. Like, we didn't have to watch all the X-Men movies, but although there's like parts where he was dreaming about Jean Grey, the Cyclops' old girlfriend, and his old girlfriend, and I kind of remember what happened with her, but not really, because it's been so long since I've seen the actual X-Men movies.
yeah, that's kind of a part that I wish I saw more. I wish we went back and
it wasn't that important, but
no, but it would have added a little bit more.
In the future, we'll have to go through like all of these movies and do a big premium style podcast for the X-Men movies, because there's a lot of them now. Some of them are pretty good. Like the first 2 are really good. So have you heard anything about the Days of Future Past?
Not really. I mean, I haven't really paid much attention to it.
Basically, I won't spoil anything in it, but it's a really popular X-Men comic book storyline.
Yeah.
It has to do with time travel, and Wolverine's the main guy in it, and it's going to have characters from the X-Men First Class and people that were in the other X-Men movies, and that sounds kind of awesome. I'm not going to lie. I know a little bit about the storyline, but I won't say much about it, except that there's some time travel in it, and it looks really interesting. I think it could end up being really, really good. Probably the best X-Men movie in quite a while.
Yeah.
Other than X-Men First Class, which we still need to watch. We'll definitely have to watch that one before the next one comes out next May.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, that's our Wolverine review. You can check out our website and our other movie reviews at filmbuffbrothers.com. We are on iTunes if you want to subscribe and be lazy and not download stuff like I do. I can't use iTunes. Do you use iTunes?
Nope. I use some other podcatcher, but
that's going to help us on this. This is going to get back to iTunes. They're going to screw us.
Well, neither of us have Apple devices, so that's kind of part of the reason for us not to use iTunes.
Yeah, I don't usually use any podcast thingy because I listen to too many. We are also on Twitter at FBB Podcast, and we are on Facebook, Google Plus, and is that it?
I think
we're probably in a few other places too.
Yeah.
You'll have to find us there. Okay, so that's our review on the Wolverine. Thanks for listening.